From the Holi or Phagwah celebration known as the Festival of Colors, held every spring along Liberty Avenue, to the annual West Indian American Day Parade along Eastern Parkway in Brooklyn, and the tassa drums, elaborate traditional outfits, wedding celebrations, and flavorful food like roti and curry. The rich culture of Indo-Caribbeans can be seen on streets all across New York City, especially Queens, and they're made up of predominantly Guyanese and Trinidadians. According to the latest data by the US Census Bureau, Guyanese-Americans are the 5th largest immigrant population in New York City and 2nd largest in Queens. And Trinidadians are the 8th largest in the city and 12th in Queens.
The Indo-Caribbean communities really represent this twice migrant population. That's very large in United States of America, within that New York City and Queens.
From India, they went to Caribbean countries like Guyana, Trinidad, and Jamaica in the 19th century to work as indentured workers, many migrating to the United States in the 1960s. Professor Madaluka Kandawal helped coin the term Indo-Caribbean in the 80s.
A group like Indo-Caribbeans, which is, both Caribbean, right, broadly speaking, and also of an Indian descent, kind of falls between the cracks.
Where cultural identity continues to be a struggle, according to Aneta Sicharan, who's been working with the South Asian and Indo-Caribbean communities for over 20 years. She says Queens and neighborhoods like Richmond Hill, South Richmond Hill, Ozone Park, and South Ozone Park have been grappling with getting basic services, including job training and counseling for domestic violence and mental health. But that's not all. What are some things that the Indo-Caribbean community needs that they don't have right now?
Youth services, older adult services, DV services, financial counseling, housing services. We do not have a proper established community center dedicated to the Indo-Caribbean community.
Back in January, according to city health data, zip code 11419, which covers Richmond Hill and South Ozone Park, had the highest COVID infection rate in all 5 boroughs and was one of the last areas to get testing sites.
We didn't actually get the help that we need until much later on in the pandemic, when the statistics started to increase and increase and increase. And then all of a sudden a light bulb went off in people's heads, and it was, wow, look at the number of COVID infection.
Councilwoman Adrienne Adams pushed for the popular Lefferts Boulevard and Liberty Avenue to be co-named Little Guyana back in May.
A community so worthy of respect, of appreciation in the city, finally being seen, finally being understood, finally being acknowledged, finally being celebrated.
Still, like many immigrant groups, a portion of Indo-Caribbeans are undocumented and therefore undercounted. Mayor Bill de Blasio kicked off a $40 million campaign last year to get an accurate count in the 2020 census, despite immigration status. Mohammed Q. Amin led the Caribbean Counts campaign.
We shouldn't have to leave our communities in order for us to access services.
The new 2020 census data released last month shows a surge in New York City's population, with Queens one of the counties with the most growth.
We will continue to fight until we get the representation and until we get the resources we know we need.
Jennifer Bisram, Pix 11 News.